네, 1979년 10월부터 이듬해인 1980년 5월 16일까지
From October
전국의 주요 대학 학생들이 가두
1980,
시위를 하는데
1979 to 1980s,
걷잡을 수 없이
the
퍼져
people's calling for democratization was disseminated throughout the nation. And with that passionate aspiration for democracy in our hearts, we will now begin the 39th anniversary of the May 18th Gwangju democratization movement. Please rise from your seats for the Pledge of Allegiance to the nation. Salute to the flag. I pledge in front of Taegukgi allegiance to the Republic of Korea for the eternal glory of the country, liberty, and justice. At ease. Let us sing the national anthem. Students representatives of the May 18th democratization movement victims, Jeonnam National University and Joseon University will take the lead. The national anthem will be sung until the fourth verse.
다음은 헌화와
Next,
분향,
flower
그리고
offering and incense
순국선열과
burning will be
호국영령이
followed by a
5.18
silent
민주화
tribute to
운동
the
희생
patriotic
경력에 대한
martyrs,
문명을
the fallen
올리겠습니다.
heroes, and the souls of the
먼저
victims of
주민 네
Gwangju.
분께서
The guest
헌화와
of honor
분향을
and the First Lady
하시겠습니다.
will offer flowers
참석자
and burn
여러분들께서는
incense.
일어서신 상태로
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain stood so that all of us pay tribute to the noble sacrifices of the martyrs and fallen heroes and the souls of the victims of Gwangju.
모두와 함께 하겠습니다.
We will pay silent tribute to the patriotic martyrs, the fallen heroes, and the souls of the victims of Gwangju. Salute to the patriotic martyrs, the fallen heroes, and the souls of the victims of Gwangju. Moment of silence. At ease. All the participants, moment of silence.
바로
At ease.
모두 자리에
Please
앉아주시기
be seated.
바랍니다.
In May 1980, Gwangju had to live through the painful 10 days where students, farmers, ordinary office workers, civil servants, and even clergy were arrested, sacrificed, and killed. From women who gave out food and water to young school children, people became united. The chief of the coalition for the May 18 Democracy Men of Merit will tell the story of the passion of those days.
(5.18) 민주화운동 I would like to briefly report to you all the major process of how the 18th democracy movement, whose truth has to be verified in the name of the nation, and an event that shall be remembered in the name of the public unfolded, and how its dignity is restored through designating May 18th as a day of national commemoration and enacting a related legislation as the national merit. On May 17th, 1980, the new military power centering around Chonduhan expanded the emergency martial law to the entire nation through groundless rumors that North Korea invited South Korea, and by using social chaos as justification in order to seize national authority. And the students were tortured and they were given as preventive custody. The martial law army was dispatched to major universities across the countries, including Gwangju National Assembly and the media outlets. Through this process, the 7th Special Forces Brigade dispatched to Gwangju tortured and detained students who were studying at schools as they occupied the universities in the Gwangju region. And the students were also taken to the streets, and the city of Gwangju has turned into a big pandemonium. Atrocities were witnessed in the process of arresting the protesters, and the military unit's suppression was also targeted at the elderly and the women. The brutal protest suppression that began in the afternoon of the 18th led to even more brutalities across the city on the 19th and 20th, with additional dispatch of the 11th and 3rd Special Forces Brigade. On May 18th, Mr. Kim Kyung-chul, who was even tortured by the troops, was killed. Many young people were bleeding and the women's clothes were ripped. And on May 20th, 1980, around 200 buses and taxis gathered in Gwangju city center to carry out a vehicle protest. With this, the citizens put the martial law army into a defensive corner. Eventually, on May 20th, the military opened fire against the crowd in front of the Gwangju station, which killed numerous citizens. And a day later, on May 21st, people gathered at the Kumnam Street to protest against the brutal suppression of the military and to call for the government's apology as well as a peaceful resolution of the situation. They attempted to negotiate with the martial law military, but at 1 p.m. on that day, the national anthem was played through the speakers at the rooftop of the Jeollanam-do Province City Government Complex. At the same time, the snipers who were situated also opened fire at the people, which killed dozens of people while thousands of others were injured. And on the evening of May 20th, the military unit withdrew to the outskirts of Gwangju City, and in the process of isolating the city, they killed numerous citizens and citizen militia who also coming in or going out of the people of Gwangju. And from the 22nd to 26th of May, after the retreat of the martial law military, the city of Gwangju maintained an autonomous community even without security forces. And the May 18 documents were also registered on the UNESCO Memory of the World. The new military authority seized national power with the inauguration of President Chun Doo-han, and later they distorted the May 18th democracy movement as a riot by rebellious people who were embedded with the spirit of North Korea and concealed all of the truth. Many young people had to sacrifice themselves, calling for revealing the truth of the Gwangju massacre and legitimate penalization of those in charge. Ultimately, this led to the June democracy struggle on 1987, which became the engine for the democracy of the Republic of Korea. On April 17, 1997, the Supreme Court recognized the homicide of Chun Doo-han and all of those in charge of the Gwangju massacre for national rebellion. With this, two former presidents, Chun Doo-han and Roh Tae-woo, who abused their power to conceal the crimes and to illegally seize national power, were punished. On May 1997, the May 18 democracy movement was designated as a day of national commemoration. On July 27, 2002, the legislation on honoring the May 18 Democracy Man of Merit was enacted and put into effect. With this, the movement restored its dignity in terms of legal and systematic aspects. I extend my deepest gratitude to all Korean citizens who fought together to realize democracy through revealing the truth of the democracy movement. And I also send my word of comfort for martyrs who lost their lives as well as their bereaved families. Despite such legislation and judicial judgment, there are still those who aim to distort the May 18 democracy movement, even as we are celebrating the 39th anniversary of the movement. In particular, even 8 months after the Special Act on the May 18 Democracy Movement came into effect, the fact-finding committee has not yet been established. I sincerely ask the members of the parliament from both the ruling and opposition parties who are present today to come up with swift measures so that the Special Act can be implemented. The fact-finding of the May 18 Democracy Movement shall be carried out transparently based on the Special Act, so that we can publish a white paper under the nation of the country, and to make an official apology by the nation and to station it as a valuable history that all of our citizens need to remember and succeed. Thank you very much. May 18, 2019, Jung Chun-sik, Chief of the Coalition for the May 18 Democracy Man of Merits. Today on 1980,
찬란한 것은 그날 그곳에
May is brilliant
그들이 있었기
because
때문입니다.
on that day,
세상을
they were there.
바꾸겠다는
Instead of the grand
거창한
shouts to change the world,
살고
the
싶다는
cries for life filled the
아우성이
streets.
가득했고, 버텨내야
It was
한다는
because
절박한
there was desperate
마음으로
struggle for endurance rather than just fighting against injustice.
우리의
Our bright May
민주주의
was filled
그렇게
with gruesome
처절한
cries.
아우성과
and
몸부림이었습니다. 그렇게
Therefore,
광주는
Gwangju
아직도
is still
살아 숨쉬는
our reality.
현실입니다. 우리의
the very day
날.
of us.
Mit einem Ende des anhaltenden Volksabstandes lässt vor allem auch die südlich gelegene Stadt Gwangju und die dortige Umgebung erst recht in Stimmung. Die enorme Brutalität.
5월 18일 7시부터
From 7 a.m. on May 18th, the 7th Special Forces Brigade began to suppress the students and citizens with merciless torture under the primary operations dubbed Brilliant Vacation.
I believe it was on the 23rd, students were at the provincial government building. I couldn't tell who was who, but I was standing at the streets and my son just ran away after giving me his hat. So I ran behind him into the building. I looked for him, and even inside the cars, I caught him and then lost track of him again. I said, Jongpil, my son, we would die in vain if you die now. Why are you doing this? And I stopped him from going, but on the 26th, he ran away again to the government building. And I couldn't catch him because I was sick, and on that evening,
그렇게 안종필 군의 어머니는
As such,
아들의
the mother of An Jong-pil tried to prevent her son from taking part in the movement. His brothers stopped him, but he ran to the provincial government building, saying that he cannot leave his seniors from dying.
도청으로 달려갔습니다. 광주는
Gwangju
흔들리지
did not weaken.
않았습니다. 폭도가
They
될
couldn't
수
become
없었고,
rioters
불의에
and
타협할
couldn't
수
compromise
없었습니다.
with injustice.
그리고
On May
5월
24th,
24일 광주
citizens of
시민은
Gwangju
국민에게
wrote a
드리는
letter
글을
to the
통해
citizens of Korea
인간의
calling out that Gwangju was trampled on by the authoritarian rule, with their human dignities being at
광주가
risk.
짓밟히고 있다고 호소하고 역사의 심판이 내려질 그날까지
They also called for the Republic's participation for the sake of the Republic of Korea and Gwangju until the very day the history would be judged.
광주 시민 여러분,
Citizens of Gwangju, martial law army is now barging in. Please come out to the provincial government building to rescue our brothers and sisters who are dying from their guns and knives. Please don't forget our brothers and sisters. At daybreak on May 27th, we fought until the end to safeguard the building.
27일 새벽
At dawn on May 27th,
도처가
my last broadcast
크게
was made loud and clear, so it resonates throughout the square in front of the government building.
밤의 꿈은 아니리 오랜 고통 단후에
내 형제 빛나는 두 눈에 빛나는 눈물들
한 줄기 강물로 흘러 고된 땀방울 함께 흘러
그 넓은 평화의 바다에 정의의 물결 넘치는 꿈
그날이 오면 그날이 오면 내 형
At dawn, I heard the sound of gunshots, so I went outside to chase after the sound, but I was held back. 26th is the memorial service day of Jong-pil's late father. He passed away at dawn on the 27th. So they share the same day of death. They share the memorial service day. How can I describe how I feel in words? I just survived because I couldn't die. Jong-pil, if I were not sick on that day, I would have grabbed you. That one evening I failed to catch you and lost you. Not a single day passes by without thinking of you. I think of you every single day. I wish I can meet him in my dreams, in his appearance as of today. Goodbye, Jong-pil. Mom will come again. I am An Hye-jin, the granddaughter of Mrs. Lee Jung-im, who was interviewed right before, and also the niece of the late An Jong-pil, the soul of the victims of Gwangju. When my uncle, who was a high school freshman and much younger than myself, died at the provincial government building, my father, who was his elder brother, had to endure the hardships and difficult situations on behalf of my grandmother. He had to identify my uncle's body, hastily bury him at Mangwol-dong, and could not dare to show his body to my grandmother as it was too painful. My father lamented about this throughout his life. My father was a young man of my age back then. I can't even fathom how he could have endured such a situation that came about like a bolt out of the blue and accepted such great sadness and sorrow. Like our family, people say an year of Gwangju starts in May and ends in May. It's because we talk about May 18th all year long, and we can't break away from the memories of May 18th. That is why May 18th is a love and hate, an agony and a memory in itself. Nowadays, my grandmother is losing her memory of my uncle, her youngest son. But at the same time, I see more of her tears, perhaps because that memory of that day is her deep resentment. It is said that pain lives in one's memory and sorrow leaves resentment. I would rather cherish the moments and memories than forget it because it hurts. My determination to remember my uncle and not to forget those who were there that day may be a consolation to my young father's pain and my grandmother who lives with the agony remaining intact. I will never forget. Thank you. The democracy of the Republic of Korea has prevailed, rising above the tragic history. Our democracy was able to stand strong and rise again thanks to the sacrifices made here in Gwangju. Now the President will deliver his commemorative remarks.
My fellow Koreans, citizens of Gwangju and Jeollanam-do Province, May has come again without fail. May, when we miss eternally the people who are gone, has come. The May that is alive has come. The May, when sadness blossoms into courage, has come. I would like to offer words of consolation to the wounded and the bereaved families who made through the bitter times, paying tribute to the souls and to the fallen heroes who died in safeguarding democracy. I offer my wholehearted respect to the citizens of Gwangju and Jeollanam-do Province who are living their lives that attest to true patriotism. Next year marks the 40th anniversary of the May 18th Gwangju Democratic Movement. That is why many advise me that it is better for me to attend next year's ceremony. However, I certainly wanted to attend this year's ceremony. It is because I felt apologetic and ashamed towards the citizens of Gwangju. Ashamed. And also I would like to appeal to my fellow Koreans. In particular, I would like to say this once again to the citizens of Gwangju and Jeollanam-do Province. I apologize sincerely that I could not share in the pain of Gwangju as one of a citizen who lived in the same era when Gwangju of May 1980 was shedding blood and dying. On behalf of the Korean people, I would like to apologize once again wholeheartedly about the state power that committed uncivilized violence and massacre in Gwangju. There still are loud and unconstrained voices insulting and denying the May 18th democratic movement. I am deeply ashamed of this reality as one of a Korean citizen. Personally, I feel sorry that I still haven't kept my promise to include the spirit of the May 18th pro-democracy movement in the preamble of the Constitution. My fellow Koreans, in May 1980, we saw Gwangju. The Gwangju crying out for democracy. The Gwangju that was completely isolated and died in loneliness. With the last cry of the civilian army defending the Jeonnam provincial government building, May of Gwangju left us with deep sense of indebtedness. The fact that we weren't with Gwangju of May, that we neglected Gwangju that was being slaughtered, left behind a perpetual agony in all of us, the contemporary citizens. That is how we experienced Gwangju together. Wherever we were at the time, whether we learned about it early on or later, we experienced the pain of Gwangju together. The sense of indebtedness and pain became the root of the democratization movement in the 1980s, and led to the June democracy struggle in 1987. The June struggle was a nationwide dissemination of May 18th movement. The democracy of the Republic of Korea is heavily in debt to Gwangju. Anyone who experienced the same era and the same agony as fellow Koreans, anyone who lived with the aspiration toward democratization in our hearts, will not be able to deny this fact. The truth of May 18th movement cannot be different between liberals and conservatives, because the value Gwangju longed to uphold was freedom and democracy. Unless you are a descendant of a dictator, it is impossible to look at May 18th movement otherwise. The May 18th movement was called Gwangju Incident, and it was officially named as Gwangju Democratization Movement in 1988 under the Notae administration. The Kim Il-sung administration stipulated in a special act as May 18th the Gwangju Democratization Movement in 1995, and at last in 1997, May 18th movement was established as a national memorial day. The Supreme Court also ruled the new army group's December 20th coup d'etat and the repression against May 18th movement a military rebellion and high treason. The main culprits were punished judicially. Fellow Koreans, as such, we achieved a popular consensus on the historical meaning and nature of May 18th of Gwangju more than 20 years ago. It is legally settled. Now we don't need to have a debate anymore. It is meaningless. What we need to do is to be grateful for Gwangju May 18th movement that contributed to the development of democracy and advance our democracy forward. Only then we can step toward a better Korea that is an integrated society through healthy competition. I would like to ask all of you to put our minds together to settle the pages of our history and move forward to the future. However, there are still many truths that need to be revealed, including the responsible figure for genocide, secret burial, issue of sexual violence, and helicopters opening fire. Fact-finding is the task that we need to do. Gwangju shall put down its immense burden of history and transform May of tragedy into May of hope. Of course, this is something the political circles must take part in. We all need to honor the dignity of Gwangju and reveal the truth together. Now we are walking toward a new Republic of Korea. With the belated political mindsets, including those of prior to the May 18th democracy movement, age Yushin, and the era of the Fifth Republic of South Korea, we cannot take a single step forward. We must walk together forward on the basis of the democracy that we have safeguarded in May. We now need to pay back our indebted hearts for Gwangju with the development of the Republic of Korea.
Fellow Korean citizens of Gwangju City and Jeollanam-do Province, In March last year, the special act on the fact-finding operation for the May 18 democratic movement was enacted. The essence was to set up a fact-finding committee to uncover remaining truth. However, the committee has not yet been inaugurated. I urge the National Assembly and the political circles to exert more efforts with a heavy sense of duty. Through the Defense Ministry's May 18 Special Investigation Committee, my administration has confirmed that there was open fire from the helicopter, sexual violence, assault, and sexual torture by the martial law army. As such, we've confirmed there was an infringement on women's rights, and the Minister of Defense gave an official apology. My administration vows to spare no efforts in supporting the fact-finding committee when it's established under the Special Act. We'll provide all necessary archives so that it can fulfill its role. Citizens of Gwangju and Jeollanam-do Province, today marks the 39th anniversary of the May 18 democracy movement and Gwangju's dreams of an ordinary life and happiness. The sons and daughters of Gwangju who were born on that year have now lived through May for 39 years and have become adults. They could have been married now and may have become parents themselves. I sincerely hope that the sons and daughters of Gwangju can live well in a world where truth is regarded as common sense. Gwangju, which has successfully secured democracy, have now become a city that leads economic democracy and mutual coexistence. The tripartite negotiations among the labor management government have reached a social compromise based on concession and sharing. This had led to the creation of socially integrated jobs dubbed the Gwangju-type jobs. This is being envied by all other municipal governments who are seeking second and third Gwangju-type jobs. With the Gwangju-type job deal, the first domestic automobile assembly factory in 23 years will be established at the Peat Green Industrial Complex. This will become an opportunity for innovation for the automobile industry. Gwangju is also making astonishing efforts for the fourth industrial revolution. It continues to nurture hydrogen, data, and AI industries as sources of future growth engines. For the first time in March, it has completed the construction of the Hydrogen Fusion Energy Center. On top of this, it's also planning to construct the nation's largest eco-friendly hydrogen fuel cell generation facility. It has also been selected for the Smart City Challenge project, aimed to solve urban problems with the cooperation of municipal governments and businesses. Gwangju is also becoming a role model city for public safety. In the areas of disaster management evaluation, including responding to contagious diseases, national safety evaluation, and natural disaster prevention, Gwangju has been selected as a top-notch institution for disaster management among 17 local autonomous regions this year. Gwangju also topped the list when it comes to the rate of reduction in the number of deaths by traffic accidents. These were all possible thanks to the concerted efforts of Gwangju citizens and public servants who aim to make Gwangju the safest city in the nation. I extend my deepest gratitude for taking the lead to making a safe Republic of Korea. My administration will always be with you to enable Gwangju to achieve its dreams. And I'm confident that the public will also support such initiative. Fellow Korean citizens, citizens of Gwangju and Jeollanam-do Province, Beginning today, City Bus Route 228 will begin its operation. Its routes include the major historical spots of May, including the Junam Village, Jeonnam University Hospital, the old provincial government building, and the May 18th Archive Center. 228 is a number that symbolizes the February 28th democracy movement in Daegu. Also in Daegu, there is a bus route number 518, which is in operation. Daegu's 달구벌 and Gwangju's 빛고을 have made a moonlight alliance, and their solidarity has become stronger based on justice and democracy. At a time when there are continued denial and insults against Gwangju, Mayor Kwon Young-jin of Daegu City has written a word of apology for the Gwangju citizens. The two cities are confronting historical distortion and politics of division and are standing at the forefront of solidarity and mutual cooperation. This is the path of reconciliation and forgiveness that we shall take. May shall no longer be May of outrage and sorrow. To us, May shall be the beginning of hope and the basis of unity. When we open our hearts, standing before the truth, forgiveness and embracement shall become larger within our hearts. Today's Gwangju gives us a true lesson that reconciliation through truth is the true road for national integration. In Gwangju, there lie courage, shyness, righteousness, sense of shame, outrage, and forgiveness. The burden of history on Gwangju is very immense. This is the burden that all of us who have witnessed and went through the May of that year shall take. The pride of Gwangju is part of our history and part of the Republic of Korea, and as well a part of all of our citizens. Nurturing the seed of democracy that has been planted in Gwangju will become a happy task. I sincerely hope that our May shines annually and that it can become a source of energy for all our citizens in going towards the future. Thank you very much.